All right, today we are tackling a huge topic for anyone working in AI. How do you go from just messing around with a single model to building a truly powerful machine learning platform? Let's kick things off with what might be the single most important idea in this entire explainer, because it really frames everything we're going to talk about. See, a model, that solves one specific problem. An ML platform, well, that solves a business. Let's get into what that really means. Okay, so every company out there wants to get in on the AI game, right? But here's what usually happens. Some brilliant data scientist cooks up an amazing model in a Jupyter notebook. And then, well, the chaos begins. And this slide, wow, it really paints the picture, doesn't it? On the left, you've got ML chaos. This is the world of manual deployments that constantly break, zero version control so nobody knows which model is which, teams doing the exact same work over and over, and oh yeah, those massive cloud bills because someone left a GPU running all weekend. We've all been there. But on the right, that's the goal. ML order. Everything is automated, governed, reusable, and cost-efficient. And that right there brings us to the solution. The big mental shift is this. Stop thinking about your machine learning work as, a series of one-off, handcrafted projects. Instead, think of it as an entire factory, an AI factory. So let's be super clear on this. An ML platform is not just some server where you dump your model. No way. It's a complete end-to-end assembly line. It's designed to handle the whole shebang, from the raw data coming in the door to building and deploying models, and even watching over them once they're out in the wild. And this is basically the blueprint for that factory. It all starts with the data layer, which is like your raw materials warehouse. Then you've got a feature layer for your standardized, reusable parts, and a training layer where the assembly happens. But it's also wrapped in these absolutely critical layers like governance for auditing and security, things like access control, to make sure the whole operation is safe and sound. It's a full-blown ecosystem. Now look, this isn't just some abstract theory. The biggest names in tech, they figured this stuff out years ago. So let's take a look at how they built their legendary platforms to solve this exact problem. First up, the king of recommendations, Netflix. Think about it. Their entire user experience is built on this. Their platform is engineered for pure speed, letting them retrain models constantly to figure out exactly what you want to watch next. And they do it in real time for hundreds of millions of people. Just incredible. Then we've got Uber's legendary platform, Michelangelo. And the key here is reusability. They build it once, and now it's used by more than 200 different teams inside the company. It's the engine behind your ride's ETA, the pricing, fraud detection, you name it. Now that is what AI at scale actually looks like. And of course, we have to talk about Google. They use their internal platform, TFX, to run some of the biggest products on the planet, like search and maps. And then they did something amazing. They open sourced it. They gave everyone access to their battle-tested tools, which are super focused on really important stuff like governance and making sure models are behaving correctly. Okay, so let's take all that inspiration from the giants and boil it down. What does a generic, enterprise-grade architecture actually look like? Think of this as a kind of simplified blueprint, a starting point that you can adapt for your own world. You can really break the whole thing down into 5 key stages, and it's a pretty logical flow. You start with data ingestion, getting your raw data in. That data then populates a feature store, which is just a central library of reusable data signals. From there, you go to the training layer to build the models and the deployment layer to push them live. And then, and this is so important, the final step, monitoring. This is where you watch for any weird behavior or performance drops. All right, so you're probably thinking, okay, I'm sold. I need this. But how do you actually get started? This is a huge strategic question every company faces. And that brings us to our final section. And really, the first big question you're going to hit is this. Do we build our own platform from scratch, maybe using open source tools, or do we buy a ready-made managed service from one of the big cloud providers? It's the classic build versus buy dilemma. Honestly, the right answer here really depends on where you are as a company. If you're a startup just trying to get off the ground, using off-the-shelf tools like AWS SageMaker or Google's Vertex AI is a no-brainer. It gets you moving fast. As you get bigger, it starts to make more sense to build a single platform that everyone can reuse. And once you're a massive enterprise, you'll likely need a fully custom internal platform to handle all your unique needs. But here is the absolute key. And if you remember one thing from this section, make it this. Platforms emerge. They aren't built overnight. You don't just decide to build a platform and lock a team in a room for a year. No. You start small. You solve one real problem for one team. Then you build on that success. Maybe you add a shared feature store, then automated training pipelines, then monitoring. You see? It evolves, piece by piece, growing more powerful over time. And as you're on this journey, please keep these best practices in mind. It will save you a world of pain later on, I promise. A couple of quick callouts. Start a feature store on day one. Seriously. Design everything to be modular and reusable. And for the love of all that is holy, please, always add monitoring and drift detection. A model you're not watching isn't an asset. It's a liability waiting to happen. So, let's bring it all home. To really truly succeed with AI at scale, we have to change how we think. We have to move from being model builders to being factory builders. Because the future of AI, it's platform-driven, not model-driven. So the only real question left is, what will your platform build next?